on a jagged asphalt vein. I am the iron core that can withstand the rain. I saw the horizon buckled under at every wave, but I moved a mountain while the skeptics chose to wait. But my knuckles bear the scars of a long and winding road. I carry the fire and I shoulder the entire load. The gears turn slow with a deep and hollow sound. My boots are heavy, but they never leave the ground. I am the shadow etched in the canyon wall. The higher the pressure, the less I fear to fall. Time is a hammer hitting a stubborn nail. The steady pulse when the weak and weary fail. Hardened by the friction of a cold and biting wind. The finish line stops where the suffering has been. I do not flicker and I do not bend my knee. The storm is coming, but it cannot conquer me. Old timber creaking in a house built out of stone. A man is a king when he stands out on his own. There is no shortcut through the thick and tangled briar. You have to walk through the center of the fire. I measure my progress by the sweat upon my brow. The only moment that matters is the here and now. The sky is a bruise that is turning dark and deep. I have promises to my own soul that I must keep. I am the shadow etched in the canyon wall. The higher the pressure, the less I fear the fall. Time is a hammer hitting the stubborn nail. A steady pulse when the weak and weary fail. Hardened by the friction of a cold and biting wind. The finish line stops where the suffering has been. I do not let go and I do not bend my knee. The storm is coming, but it cannot conquer me. The dust settles hard on this hollow ground. I drag my shadow through the mud and sound. Builds a fortress from the stones they threw. Now the sky is turning a jagged shade of blue. My boots are heavy, but the path is clear. I traded every ounce of doubt for fear. The dice are rolling on a rusted plate. I am the master of this crooked game. The engine hums a low and steady growl, like a hungry wolf on a midnight prowl. I calculated every risk and turn, watching all the bridges that I had to burn. No more mercy in the palm of my hand, just the blueprint of a conquered land. The wind is howling like a broken choir, but I am walking through the heart of the fire. Victory tastes like iron and rain. A king is born from the belly of pain. I broke the cycle and I bent the steel, crushing the spirit beneath my heel. The would crumble like a garden wall. But I was mapping out the silent gaps, navigating through their hidden traps. The strategy was etched into my bone. While they were sleeping, I was not alone. The ghosts of failures are my only friends, until the moment that the struggle ends. Oh, eyes and screams, a crimson song for the man who waited far too long. The gear is locked, the strike is true. Nothing left for me to prove to you. Victory tastes like iron and rain. A king is born from the belly of pain. I broke the cycle and I bent the steel, crushing the spirit beneath my heel. The frown is cold, but the fall is mine. I drew the circle and I crossed the line. A calculated triumph in the dark, leaving behind a deep and permanent mark. Victory tastes like iron and rain. A king is born from the belly of pain. I broke the cycle and I bent the steel, crushing the spirit beneath my heel. The throne is cold, but the fight is nigh. I drew the circle and I crossed the line. Calculate the triumph in the dark, leaving behind a deep and permanent mark. The dust settles on the edge of the flatland. Bull heels digging deep into the red clay. I watch the sun burn low through the eye of clouds, keeping my eyes fixed on the jagged peak. There is no shadow long enough to hide the road. I carry the weight of every mile I walked. They said the river was too wide to bridge across. They said the wind would snap the tallest pine. But I built a fire from the wreckage of the doubt, feeding the flames with the talk of small men. My hands are scarred, but they never lost the grip. The compass in my chest points straight through the storm. I am the thunder rolling over the canyon across the tile floor. The sun sets red upon the marble door. 1,000 years of forging single breaths between a cloud of gold and dust of death. Lay the iron down to claim the rising height. We call the dawn out of the endless night. The eagle watches from the jagged crest. No room for weakness in a heavy chest. My shadow stretches long toward the east, a patient hunger of a silent beast. The mortar dries beneath the steady hand. I trace the boundaries of the promised land. The weight of heavy stones will never yield until the glory saturates the field.
Hear the granite block across the Tiber floor. The sun sets red upon the marble door. 1,000 years of forging single breaths between a crown of gold and dust of death. Lay the iron down to claim the rising height. We carve the dawn out of the endless night.
From the temple floor, I hear the thunder through the palace door. A kingdom built on grit and heart and clay will never tremble when the heavens fray. Let every pillar stand against the wind to pay the price for every battle sin. The foundation is deep and dark and cold to keep the secrets that the ruins hold.
Be the granite block across the Tiber floor. The sun sets red upon the marble door. 1,000 years of forging single breaths
between the crown of gold and dust of death.
Lay the iron down to claim the rising height. We carve the dawn out of the endless night.
The granite block across the Tiber floor. The sunset's red upon the marble door. 1,000 years are forged in single breaths between the crown of gold and dust of death. Lay the iron down to claim the rising height. We call the dawn out of the endless night. The eagle watches from the jagged crest. No room for weakness in a heavy chest. My shadow stretches long toward the east, a patient hunger of a silent beast. The mortar dries beneath a steady hand. I trace the boundaries of the promised land. The weight of heavy stones will never yield until the glory saturates the field. Keep the granite block across the Tiber floor. The sun sets red upon the marble door. 1,000 from the temple floor. I hear the thunder through the palace door. A kingdom built on written heart and clay will never tremble when the heavens fray. Let every pillar stand against the wind to pay the price for every battle sin. The foundation is deep and dark and cold to keep the secrets that the ruins hold. Leave the branded block across the tile floor. The sunset's red upon the marble door. 1,000 years are forced in single breaths between the crown of gold and dust of theirs. Lay the iron down to claim the rising high. We call the dawn out of the endless night. The floorboards creak beneath the weight of coal and tent. 64 squares where every breath is spent. You slide a wooden soldier through the velvet haze, counting every exit in this checkered maze. The mahogany reflects a concentrated glare. Something heavy thickened in the heavy air. No reckless motion can survive the grid, unlocking secrets that the masters hid. The clock is bleeding seconds on the plate, negotiating with a silent fate. Calculated gambit in a house of stone, claiming every fortress that you thought you owned. It is a long haul through the jagged night, turning the shadows into blinding light. Pressure builds behind a steady hand, mapping out the conquest of a narrow land. Now watch your fingers hover near the final line, tracing out a pattern that is yours and mine. A sacrificial pawn to clear the smoking path, avoiding all the shadows of the aftermath. Your pupils widen as the trap begins to close. That is how the momentum of the struggle goes. No reckless motion can survive the grid, unlocking secrets that the masters hid. The clock is bleeding seconds on the plate, negotiating with a silent fate. Calculated gambit in a house of stone, claiming every fortress that you thought you owned. It is a long haul through the jagged night, turning the shadows into blinding light. Pressure builds behind a steady hand, mapping out the conquest of a narrow land. The tension is a cord pulled tight across the throat, a sudden storm around the leaking boat. What you see, the geometry within the gale, a logic that will never let the vision fail. The king is cornered in a gilded cage, the final sentence on a dusty page. that you thought you owned. It is a long haul through the jagged night, turning the shadows into blinding night. Pressure bills behind under steady hand, mapping out the conquest of a narrow land. Calculated gambit in a house of stone, claiming every fortress that you thought you owned. It is a long haul through the jagged night, turning the shadows into blinding light. Pressure bills behind under steady hand, mapping out the conquest of a narrow land. The dust settles on the jagged asphalt vein. I am the iron core that can withstand the rain. I saw the rising buckle under a heavy weight, but I moved a mountain while the skeptics chose to wait. My knuckles bear the scars of a long and winding road. I carry the fire and I shoulder the entire load. The gears turn slow with a deep and hollow sound. My boots are heavy, but they never leave the ground. I am the shadow etched in the canyon wall. The higher the pressure, the less I fear the fall. Time is a hammer hitting a stubborn nail, a steady pulse when the weak and weary fail. Hard by the friction of a cold and biting wind. The finish line starts where the suffering has been. I do not flicker and I do not bend my knee. The storm is coming, but it cannot conquer me. Old timber creaking in a house built out of stone. A man is a king when he stands out on his own. There is no shortcut through the thick and tangled briar. You have to walk through the center of the pyre. I measure my progress by the sweat upon my brow. The only moment that matters is the here and now. The sky is a bruise that is turning dark and deep. I have promises to my own soul that I must keep. I am the shadow etched in the canyon wall. The higher the pressure, the less I give a fall. Time is a hammer hitting a stubborn nail, a steady pulse when the weak and weary fail. Hard by the friction of a cold and biting wind. The finish line starts where the suffering has been. I do not flicker and I do not bend my knee. The storm is coming, but it cannot conquer me. Woke up to a sky that's holding back the light. Just a heavy shade of gray before the dawn turns bright. I've been digging in this dirt for 1,000 days, waiting for the harvest through the morning haze. My hands are calloused and my boots are worn thin, but I won't let the doubt start settling in. You see the mountain, but you don't see the climb. Everything of value takes a little more time. The seeds are sleeping down where it's cold and deep. Promises are something that that you've got to keep. Put your shoulder to the wheel and your heart in the sand. The future is a kingdom you build by hand. Hold steady while the seasons roll slow. You can't rush the river where the tall weeds grow. Keep your eyes on the border where the sun beats the ground. Silence is the sweetest kind of victory sound. Lay your treasures in the pocket of a coming year. The prize is getting closer than it might appear. The clock is just a hammer hitting on the nail. Don't you go believing that you're bound to fail. Swear that on your forehead is a holy kind of dew. Water in the garden that is waiting for you. Trade your worry for a long distance view. They'll tell you that you're chasing after empty ghosts while they're drifting aimless by the jagged coast. But you've got a blueprint tucked inside your chest, a secret map leading to the very best. So plan another roll and let the shadows fall. You're gonna be the one who stands over it all. Oh, the wind is shifting south and the tide is high. The blueprint is written on the open sky. Take a deep breath and let the feeling settle down. The weight of the struggle is a heavy gold crown. Hold steady while the seasons roll slow. You can't rush the river where the tall weeds grow. Keep your eyes on the border where the land meets the ground. Silence is the sweetest kind of victory sound. Lay your treasures in the pocket of a coming year. The prize is getting closer than it might appear. The dust has settled on this jagged road. I carried every heavy stone alone. The shadow stretched across the empty miles, but never broke the marrow in my bone. I watched the sun sink down below the edge and let the cold wind settle in my chest. There is a quiet power in the weight, a certain peace within this lonely test. My fingers trace the scars upon the wood. The strings are tight and ready for the pull. I did not rush the coming of the light. I waited till the bitter cup was full. The horizon started bleeding shades of ink. The heavy indigo begins to rise. I see the world for exactly what it is, with steady hands and clarity in eyes. Now the climb is done and here I stand with the iron weight inside my head. The darkness tried to keep me on my knees, but I found the strength among the trees. It is a slow and solemn kind of wind, the place where the better years begin. Steady as the pulse within my vein, I have finally mastered all the rain. They said the night would never find an end. They promised that the soul around to bend. But silence is a forge that makes you new and turns the gray into a deeper blue. No frantic shouting at the That's the truth that lives within the wild. The valley floor is hidden in the mist. The ghost of failure no longer exists. I take a breath and feel the cooling air. There is no longer any burden there. My shadow is a giant on the wall, standing upright and standing very tall. The long endurance was the only path to rise above the hollow aftermath. The embers glow beneath the cooling ash. I do not need the thunder or flash, just the solid ground beneath my feet, where the struggle and the victory meet. Now the climb is done and here I stand, with the iron weights on my head. The darkness tried to keep me on my knees, but I found the strength among the trees. It is a slow and solemn kind of wind, the place where the better years begin. Steady as the pulse within my vein, I have finally mastered all the
creek beneath the weight of cold intent. 64 squares where every breath is spent. You slide a wooden soldier through the velvet haze, counting every exit in the checkered maze. The mahogany reflects a concentrated glare. Something heavy thicker in the heavy air. No reckless motion can survive the grip, unlocking secrets that the masters hear. The clock is beating seconds on the plate, negotiating with a silent fate. Calculated gambit in a house of stone, claiming every fortress that you thought you owned. It is a long haul through the jagged night, turning the shadows into blinding light. Pressure builds behind the steady hand, mapping out the conquest of an narrow land. Watch your fingers up near the final line, tracing out a pattern that is yours and mine. Sacrificial corner, clear the smoking path, avoiding all the shadows of the aftermath. Your pupils widen as the trap begins to close. That is how the momentum of the struggle goes. No reckless motion can survive the grip, unlocking secrets that the masters hear. The clock is bleeding seconds on the plate, negotiating with a silent fate. Calculated gambit in a house of stone, claiming every fortress that you thought you owned. It is a long haul through the jagged night, turning the shadows into blinding light. Pressure builds behind a steady hand, mapping out the compass of a narrow land. The tension is a cord pulled tight across the floor, the sudden storm around a leaking boat. But you see the geometry within the gale, a logic that will never let the vision fail. The king is cornered in a gilded cage, the final sentence on a dusty page. Oh! Calculated gambit in a house of stone, claiming every fortress that you thought you owned. It is a long haul through the jagged night, turning the shadows into blinding light. Pressure builds behind this holy hand, mapping out the conquest of a narrow land. Calculated gambit in a house of stone, claiming every fortress that you thought you owned. It is a long haul through the jagged night, turning the shadows into blinding light. Pressure builds behind this holy hand, mapping out the conquest of a narrow land.
Blueprint lies spread across the cold mahogany. Every line drawn with a steel edge and a heavy hand. I counted the miles before I ever turned the key, measuring the distance across this hollow land. The shadows fall exactly where I told them to stay. No light escapes the grid I laid upon the floor. I know the cost of every word I have to say, and exactly what the silence is waiting for. The strings are tight enough to cut a jagged vein, a heavy pulse beating inside a hollow wooden chest. There is a logic to the way I handle all this pain. A calculated weight settled deep within my breast. The clockwork ticks behind the movement of my thumb, tracing the path that the low notes must follow now. I am the total of the map that makes me numb, with a crown of iron resting on my furrowed brow. This is the architecture of a long and lonely night, built with the precision of a master mason stone. Not a single spark of accidental morning light, just the heavy timber of a man standing alone. The plan is finished and the ink is finally dried. A steady grip upon the wheels, the road begins to bend. No frantic reaching for the quarters of the sky, just a slow progression toward a predetermined end. The dust is settled in a thin and even gray veneer, polished like the chrome upon a high-end luxury hearse. I have eliminated every trace of sudden fear, and locked the chaos out of every single verse. There is no fever in the way I play this hand, no sudden movement to disrupt the cooling air. I am the king of all this well-constructed sand, designing every second of a long and dark despair. The bass is walking like a soldier on a quiet beat, marching through the alleyways of a systematic dream. I feel the concrete pressing hard against my feet. Nothing is as broken as it might initially seem. The geometry of sadness, the string and arrow hall, with a heavy door that shuts without a single sound. I am the architect who rose to build this wall, tracing every inch of this hard opposing ground. The blueprint is a map of where the fire used to burn, the ashes sifted through a screen of fine and silver mesh. There is a lesson that I did not have to learn, written in the fiber of my cold and tired flesh. This is the architecture of a long and lonely night, built with the precision of a master mason stone. Not a single spark of accidental morning light, just the heavy timber of a man standing alone. The plan in the finish and the ink is finally dry. A steady grip upon the wheels, the road begins to bend. No frantic reaching for the corners of the sky, just a slow progression toward a predetermined end. Crawls across the floor in shades of bruised indigo, tracing out a line of a ghost I used to know. My hands are heavy like the iron in the ground, searching for a frequency that can't be found. The The circuit hums a low and steady hollow prayer, while silence thickens in the stagnant winter air. The wires are aching on the weight of the night, dragging the shadows toward a flickering light. Gravity pulls at the marrow in my bones, turning the harvest into cold and jagged stone. I am digging through the sediment of a dying sun, looking for the thread before the weaving is undone. The deep swell rises from the belly of the earth, calculating what this hollow ache is worth. It is a long way down to the center of the blue, where the old world fades and the jagged edges brew. Cobalt currents pulse beneath the weary skin of a city waiting for the tide to usher in. The brassy throat of an organ starts to swell, toning like a rusted and forgotten silver bell. I see my reflection in a pool of liquid oil, watching the future spin inside a frantic coil. The gears are grinding against the velvet grain, drinking the spit of a dark and heavy rain. Everything we built is sinking in the mire, drowning the embers of a long exhausted fire. I am digging through the sediment of a dying sun, looking for the thread before the weaving is undone. The deep swell rises from the belly of the earth, calculating what this hollow ache is worth. It is a long way down to the letter of the blue, where the old world fades and the jagged edges bloom. I am digging through the sediments of a dying sun, looking for the thread before the weaving is undone. The deep swell rises from the belly of the earth, calculating what this hollow ache is worth. It is a long way down to the center of the blue, where the old world fades and the jagged edges groove. Morning crawls across the floor in shades of bruised indigo, tracing outlines of a ghost I used to know. My hands are heavy like the iron in the ground, searching for a frequency that can't be found. The circuit hums a low and steady hollow prayer, while silence thickens in the stagnant winter air. The wires are aching under the weight of the night, dragging the shadows toward a flickering light. Gravity pulls at the marrow in my bones, turning the harvest into cold and jagged stone. I am digging through the sediment of a dying sun, looking for the thread before the weaving is undone. The deep swell rises from the belly of the earth, calculating what this hollow ache is worth. It is a long way down to the center of the blue, where the old world fades and the jagged edges brew. Cobalt currents pulse beneath the weary skin of a tolling like a rusted and forgotten silver bell. I see my reflection in a pool of liquid oil, watching a future spin inside a frantic coil. The gears are grinding against the velvet grain, drinking the spirit of a dark and heavy rain. Everything we build is slinking in the mind, drowning the embers of a long exhausted fire. I am digging through the sediment of a dying sun, looking for the thread before the weaving is undone. The deep swell rises from the belly of the earth, calculating what this hollow egg is worth. It is a long way down to the center of the blue, where the old world fades and the jagged edges blue. Like a worn out skin where the secrets of the road begin. I see the seasons break against the stone, learn to find a kingdom on my own. The shadow of a mountain knows my gate, walking through the eye and teeth of fate. No map could hold the miles I've come, beating out the pace on a hollow drum. The thunder rolls deep in the hollow chest, where the weary spirit finds no rest. Gravity pulls at the edge of the sky, but the fire in the blood will never die. Long road rising through the golden haze, ancient fire burning in the modern days. Strength inherited from the ancient grain, standing tall against the driving rain. The spirit wanders, but the heart stays true, passing down the flame to someone new. Still ain't copper singing in the dark. Every strike ignites a heavy spark. The history is etched in every scar, reaching out to grab a falling star. What was built by hand will never fold, turning every silver mile to gold. Yeah, he spoke of truth in a gravel tone, a quiet power that he'd always known. I hear his footsteps in the way I tread, following the path the elders led. It's a river flowing through the bone, a kingdom built upon a solid throne. The thunder rolls deep in the hollow chest, where the weary spirit finds no rest. Gravity pulls at the edge of the sky, but the sign in the black will never die. Long road rising through the golden haze, ancient fire burning in the modern days, strength inherited from the ancient brain, standing tall against the driving rain. Oh, the spirit wanders but the heart stays true, passing down the flame to someone new. The dust settles out on the highway lines, chasing back the ghosts of better times. I carry the weight of my father's name, a steady burning on within the flame. The horizon stretches like a worn-out skin, where the secrets of the road begin. I've seen the seasons break against the stone, learn to find a kingdom on my own. The shadow of the mountain knows my gate, walking through the iron teeth of fate. No map could hold the miles I've come, beating out the pace on a hollow drum. The thunder rolls deep in the hollow chest, where the weary spirit finds no rest. Gravity pulls at the edge of the sky, but the fire in the blood will never die. Long road rising through the golden haze, ancient fire burning in the modern days, strength inherited from the ancient grain, standing tall against the driving rain. Spirit wanders but the heart stays true, passing down the flame to someone new. Steel and copper singer in the dark, every strike ignites a heavy spark. The history is etched in every scar, reaching out to grab a falling star. What was built by hand will never fold, turning every silver mile to gold. He spoke of truth in a gravel tone, a quiet power that he'd always known. I hear his footsteps in the way I tread, following the path the elders led. It's a river flowing through the bone, a kingdom built upon a solid throne. Oh, the thunder rolls deep in the hollow chest, where the weary spirit finds no rest. Gravity pulls at the edge of the sky, but the fire in the blood will never die. Long road rising through the golden haze, ancient fire burning in the modern days, strength inherited from the ancient grain, standing tall against the driving rain. The spirit wanders but the heart stays true, passing down the flame to someone